right, Greg Olsen is here with DraftKings. He's a Miami Hurricane. He's a longtime NFL tight end. Works for Fox now. What's going on, buddy?
How we doing? Good to see you.
I'm fired up. I want to start here. Give me a matchup. Like I'm walking around, people are like, Saquon Barkley against the Chiefs defense, and like Gerald McCoy was on the show 2 days ago. I was saying the actual matchup for him is not Jalen Carter against the Chiefs offensive line. It's actually Nolan Smith, because the way Nolan Smith kind of manipulates the guards and all that stuff. When you're looking at these matchups and you're circling one that maybe people aren't talking about, what are you going with?
I think obviously so much of the conversations around Saquon and the run game and the amount of volume that the run game is for this offense for Philadelphia. And I think you have to take a step back and say, okay, what allows them to have the ability to run the ball so much, right? And it's the offensive line, yes, it's Saquon, there's a lot of factors, but before you get to how good they are on the offensive side of the ball, you have to say, if the job Vic Fangio has done, turning this defense around from being at the bottom of the league last year to now at the top of the league, they're arguably the number one, if not number two best defense in the league. When you look at the ability to run the ball, it's directly correlated to the ability to keep scoring down, right? Like, Saquon Barkley can run for all these yards, but it would be meaningless if they were playing from behind, if they were trailing in the second half, So everything about Philadelphia's play style is contingent upon if they have to play in a shootout, they can. Yeah. They're highly explosive in both aspects of offense, both run and pass. And that's really what most teams aren't capable of, right? The reason that people throw the ball more than they pass, throw the ball more than they run, there's this whole conversation about the value of the run game. And Saquon Barkley, the point everyone misses is, yes, you have Saquon Barkley. Yes, he can take it 65 yards on any given play. And you're not playing in shootouts because your defense is the best defense in football. So if you eliminate all of those factors, not that Saquon Barkley's still not as good of a player, he's just less impactful. So I think everything is, if Fangio can have a great plan and they can hold Andy Reid and Mahomes and just keep the scoring down, it allows Philadelphia to play their style. If all of a sudden, open the first couple drives, Mahomes takes it right down and they convert in the red zone and they get touchdowns instead of field goals, and Philly's on their heels, all of a sudden now, arguably the best player on Philadelphia, his ability to impact the game significantly goes down.
That's fascinating. I'm talking about Kelce real quick. I don't think, I've said this a million times on this show, but the way he's able to just sit down in zones, it's almost like, I said this, I was on Simmons' podcast in August, and I was talking about the way he's able to just manipulate the defense. And I had an NFL head coach text me. He was like, if I could see one thing, it'd be, I want to see how these plays are actually drawn up. I want to see what they look like in the playbook, because it just looks like they're playing literally basketball on grass. You've played it. You were an amazing tight end. What do I need to know about Travis Kelce and just his ability to just, A, still do it, but B, it's like everybody, like the Texans game, everybody in America knows what's about to happen. And it happens anyway because of Travis Kelce.
Yeah, and again, it's very hard. You can't coach what they're doing, right? That's an evolutionary process where through time, through reps, through conversations, meetings, practice reps, games, him and Mahomes have gotten this feel where they have a very clear understanding of what each other are looking to do. And then the second level to that is they have a coach who not only allows it, but he empowers them to do it. And in today's NFL, that is very contrary to what most coaches are like. There's a lot of power and control, and know you have to be at this landmark at this moment on this foot. It's your fifth outside step, and that's how a lot of coaches want to coach, because that's their control. That's how they kind of limit those factors from playing out. But with a guy like Andy Reid, he trusts them. He empowers them to say, no, you guys have earned the right to be creative. Not everyone on the roster has that flexibility. So what's hard is, yes, I would love to see how it's drawn up in the playbook, but I'll take it one step further. I would love to see how the scout team of Philadelphia defended that play. The scout team of Philadelphia ran that against the Philadelphia defense in practice. Like that 12-yard basic cross, run up 12 yards, scout team tight end, and bang a right-hand turn, and you're going to catch the ball between the hashes. Well, now your defense, you're going to drop there. You're going to know exactly where that final landmark is. But that's not the final landmark is not halfway in between the hashes. The landmark is just get open. Yeah. And if you're open, stay open. Don't run into a covered zone if you're in an uncovered zone, even if that's what the route on paper tells me to do. So they have mastered the idea of we don't run routes like it's on paper. They're not lines on a paper when you get out onto the field. And I love it. That's how I always saw the game. That's how I always wanted to play. And, they obviously have taken it to another level as far as the freedom in which they can play.
I always like when I have someone who's thoughtful, I like to ask this question, and you can go wherever you want with it. You understand media very well, you understand football very well, and the football media ecosystem and how crazy it can be, narratives catch hold. If you could wave a wand and have us football media understand something about the game that you think that we, not me specifically, but we all of us here miss, what would you try to teach them?
Wow, that's a great question. I don't know if I would want the football media, because I'm not saying you guys don't already know this, but just maybe fans, media, just everyone consuming the product. And again, this is part of the reason why I really like calling and broadcasting games is I think if done correctly, the beauty and the complexity of NFL football might not be entirely appreciated by everyone. I don't think everyone maybe completely grasps just the complexity of practice and the amount of time put into the game plans and how the game plans complement each other, and then how they take the offensive game plan and the defensive game plan and they have to blend those two and marry them together so that when the game plays out, when my defense is the game style my defense is trying to play marries the game style my offense is going to play. And then there's game management, and then there's the real subtle intricacies of the actual play itself, the step and the angle of the guard and where his hat placement is, and defense setting gaps. And there are so many moving pieces on every single play, from the decision that was made to the play that was drawn up to the coverage that was blown up, and then 11 guys on every play having to execute those with discipline, with understanding of the people around them. Like, it is such a fascinating game because of those levels of complexity. And I think sometimes you can overdo it and you can make it sound super hard to process, and obviously in a game environment with the broadcast that's hard to do. But if done right, there's no more beautiful game, there's no more complicated game. And I think fans get it to a degree, but I think they'd be blown away to sit in on a meeting, to sit on an install, to see just how much time and thought and detail is put into every single aspect of what you see in the game. And then obviously sometimes it goes well and sometimes it doesn't.
A couple more for you. You've given a bunch of interviews about Fox the last couple weeks, and that you've kind of made your statement on that. But I'm curious why you're being so honest. And seriously, because for me, I think it's interesting because we all sometimes are figuring out situations and all that stuff, and you've obviously taken an approach of being open, candid. Take me through that thought process on why you're doing that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not I'm pretty much an open book person. It's just kind of my personality. I'm happy to discuss my strengths. I'm happy to discuss my weaknesses. I have plenty. I don't pretend to know everything. I don't pretend, never said, carry on like I'm the best at anything. I think in regards to this specific topic, and again, I think some of the headlines and the way it was kind of portrayed was a little bit unrealistic based on when you actually read, when you boiled down the article and actually read my quote. My comments have been very consistent from the beginning. I have incredible gratitude towards Fox. They gave me an opportunity to call really premier games on the number 2 crew immediately out of retirement. That was, again, a seat that a lot of people have been working for, and one that I was fortunate to get early on. And then just a year later to entrust me in calling the biggest games from Thanksgiving to playoffs, and then obviously culminating with the Super Bowl 2 years ago. And then obviously everything played out. And when I say I want to call top games and I want to call great games wherever it is, that is not saying I hate Fox and I want to get out of Fox and I don't like Tom Brady. Tom and I have a really good relationship. We talk often. Kevin Burkhardt is a dear friend of mine. Aaron Andrews, Tom Rinaldi. I saw all of them last night to catch up and just say hello. These are not personal animosities towards the Fox executives, Fox as a network, any of the talent that I used to work with, or resentment to the talent I work with now. They're incredible. This has nothing to do with the other individuals. I'm an extremely competitive person. Whether I was the tight end, I didn't want to just be the starter. I wanted to be in the Pro Bowl. When it's just the nature in which I go about trying to do things. So, and I think Fox understands that. We've had a lot of really clear and honest conversations about my desires and my aspirations in this field, and that will never change. I don't know anyone who enters into the field just say, I'm content with where I am. No, you want to push it to the limit and call the best games on the best level at possible, and it's something I've done already. It's something that I feel like I can do at a high level, and I'm going to continue to try to keep my name in that bucket to do it again. It's as simple as that. But sometimes I don't know if that's exactly how it always is portrayed.
You deserve it, by the way. You deserve everything. I think you're one of those thoughtful guys in the sport. Tell us what you're doing with DraftKings.
Yeah, so it's been fun. For about the last year, I've had a lot of opportunity to work with DraftKings. I got to work when they brought legalized sports betting to North Carolina, which is my home, and now obviously here at the Super Bowl. And I think for fans who might not be diehard fans of Philly or Kansas City, but they're just a fan of the game, form of entertainment, just have some action, have some skin in the game, whether it's a fun prop bet, whether it's something, with your friend, however you want to shape your involvement and having action in the game. I think it can be done fun. It can be done responsibly. And again, everyone knows back in, remember as kids, you do Super Bowl squares, and there was always an added element to like having a rooting interest in the game. And I think with DraftKings and obviously their platform and how easy they make it, this is obviously the biggest week of the year for them, and it's been a lot of fun working with them over the last year.
Thanks, buddy.
Yeah, appreciate you, man. Great job. Thank you.